So this is the a simple example I am going to consider here. So this is a web table. Okay, I have a web table here, and you consider any backend application or anything. If they want to display in tabular format, that is called a web table. So what is the structure of this web table? Every web table will have a tag called table, and then it will also have a tag called a t body. In this it is not there, let me check. It will also have a tag called t body. Okay, so if I consider this as one table, right, you can see here it has a tag called table, and inside that it has a tag called t body, and everything is a row. This is one row, this is another row, right, this is third row, like that. So all rows are having tr as the tag, html tag, and every cell element whatever is there inside will be having, okay, this is the header. For header it will be having th, and then that will be inside tr only, and then for each cell you will be having td. So table, table body, table row, and table data, and th is table header. Okay, so this is the entire structure of the web table. So this is how it will be. So these are the tags you will be having. So now we have to handle these web tables. So there are many different scenarios will come while handling these web tables, right? So the first thing is, first we need to understand how to identify elements in this particular web table. Just click on this, go to this particular field. Okay, you can see the, you can observe the x path. The tr it is showing as 2. If I go above, tr will show as 1. Okay, so I will remove till here, I will remove everything, and then I will just leave it tr. If I leave it at tr, right, everything will be highlighted, means all table rows are highlighted. Okay, so the table has an id called customers, and it has t body. Inside t body I have tr, and then inside tr I have table data. If I click on inside tr table data, all data cells are selected here. You can see here these lines are also added. These divider lines are also added here, these lines. Okay, so that's how it looks like. So if I remove the td again, it will show me only the rows. If I add tr, automatically it will show the columns also, the division of columns. If I add th instead of td, it will show me only the values where I have headers. It will show me only the values where I have header, that is th tag. So we should first understand this entire table structure, and then now we should identify the elements in these table structures. So the first thing is, please observe the x path. When I hover on that particular element, this is table row 2 and table data 1. If I move here, that is table row 2, row is same, but data or cell value is keep on incrementing. If I go to third, the cell value is keep on incrementing. If I come here, the cell value will not change, but the row value will change. Okay, so these are number of rows, okay, and number of columns. So this is the third column, and in third column the row is getting incremented. Any doubt here in understanding the entire table? Any doubt? Because I'm going to identify some elements here. Pradeep, any doubt here?
No.
No doubt. Okay. So let us understand, or let us directly consider one scenario. I want to get the value Austria, okay, or I want to get the value in the table where it is in fourth row, and third column. Okay, so that is my first way or first approach. So let me copy this, right? So directly if they provide, pick the cell, pick the data, or pick the cell data where it is having, or it is having, or it is there at fourth row and third column, then you can see here the entire x path, I'm going to divide here, right? So instead of passing value 4, right, where exactly I should pass value 4 is the first thing, right? So I have divided the entire x path like this. Up to here is the first part, and then from here to here is the second part, and then only the closing brace is the third part. So between these I am passing row value and I am passing column value. Okay, so you know how to divide this, right? So you can see here this is the first part, and then I will skip this value, only the x path I am taking. Okay, I will not take value, I can pass the value dynamically. This is the second path, okay, or second part. Then I will remove this, and this is the third part. Any doubt here in this case? How to divide this is very important. Okay, I'm taking these things as one string, that is first portion of the x path, just to pass the dynamic values. It can be fourth row and third column, or it can be second row and second column. It can be anything. So to identify or to pass the values dynamically, I am just dividing the entire x path like this into 3 different sections. Any doubt here in dividing this?
No.
Okay, Shashi. Okay, so now the next thing is I'm going to write a program, and I will pass whatever row and column I feel like, and I will try to get the value inside that particular cell. That is the first way, in the sense I will directly pass rows and columns values, and then I will get the value inside that particular row and column, and then we will see the dynamic way in the second thing. Okay, so let me create a package, web tables class web table 1. Okay, let me add the main method, and extending the base class. So you need to import that because it is in a different package. So base class dot init driver, I'm going to pass this particular URL. Okay, I will be passing that URL. Once you pass that URL, now I have to identify driver dot find element by dot x path. This is very important step, you just understand here. Okay, so before doing that, I will write string first is equal to this part. Okay, sorry, this part, that is the first section. I will be putting that inside a string, and then similarly second is equal to only this much. third is equal to only the closing brackets, closing bracket. Okay. Now, so by x path, I have to pass that x path. So how will I pass the x path? First, okay, first, I am passing the first plus I am passing the value here. So how will I pass the value? I will pass the value third row and then you concatenate that with second plus second column and then you concatenate that with third. What I did here, I did like this. Here I am passing 3, here I am passing 2. Just I did this, only thing I did here is I have divided that into different sections and then I am passing the values here. Any doubt here in generating this X path? Any doubt here?
No.
Because it is very important. Every in every application you will find all these web tables. So you might get different scenarios. So let me run this and check whether it is okay. Just a minute, I am not getting the text here. I will use get text, right, and I will display that here. Run this. If I see here, in the third row and second column, this is the value. If I go and search here, this is first row, this is second row, and then this is third row. Third row and second column, this is first column, this is second column, this is the value. So it has fetched me the value. Okay, so this is the static way, means I know where exactly that I have to pull the value or from which row and which column, then I will use this. What if I don't know where exactly that value comes inside this table, because this table can have n number of rows and n number of columns. Okay, if that is the scenario, how exactly we are going to do this? Any idea? Any idea?
Going to try loop.
Okay. I didn't get you, Pradeep.
I think we need to write that in a loop till we get that element.
This I need to write it in a loop.
Yes.
How many iterations? How many times you will iterate? That's the question. Okay, you can put it in a loop. That should not be a problem. But how many times you will iterate?
Iterations also we need to check that.
No, how will you identify? For example, according to you, you are saying for int I is equal to 0, I is less than some value. It might be 10 or it might be 20, but how will you identify there are 10 records or 20 records or 30 records in a table?
Yeah.
So that's the first question.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So how will you identify
Yeah.
identify 30 records in a table? How you are going to do that? Okay, so
Count.
that is one part. That is this part. Okay, means that is the static way. Now let us consider the dynamic way. What is the dynamic way? I don't know what is the value which is residing there. So in that scenario, I have to count. I have to get the count of number of rows and number of columns. number of rows and number of columns which are there inside this particular table. Okay, so how will you get the number of rows and number of columns? If I take up to here, if I take this X path up to here, okay, so if I take this X path up to here, it will give me all the rows which are available, right? So what I can do, I can use find elements. Is it the right way? Can I use find elements and then I will use the size method to identify the size of rows? Web element rows is equal to driver dot find elements by dot X path. I am passing up to tr there. So what it will give me, what it is giving me here in my X path, it is giving me all the rows which are available in this particular table. Correct? So similar output I will get here, in the sense a list of web elements will be getting here. Okay, a list of web element we are going to get it here. Is it correct? Am I doing right thing here? Any doubt here? Because this is very important, how we are going to identify the dynamic thing. First I will get the row count, right? So I can get the column count. Now I am going to get the column count. What is the column count here? Either you give TD or TH, anything you give, column count will be same. Okay, so instead of giving TD, I am going to give TH, which will give me the number of columns which are there inside this particular table. So that is, once again, let me take it here, that is columns, okay, by X path, and my X path is up to TH. Okay, I'm sorry, not direct TH, inside TR only I will be having TH. Okay, so this is the thing, inside TR I have a TH. So let me go here and take up this particular X path and put it there, right? So I will just change it here, that is TH. So once you get the rows and columns, what you are going to do here, for int I is equal to 0, I is less than rows dot size I plus plus. Rows dot size will give me the size of rows. Similarly, since I have to iterate two times, means I have to first iterate through rows and I have to iterate through columns. Okay, so I will be using one more for loop. For j is equal to 0, j is less than columns dot size j plus plus. Does this make sense? Okay, yeah, I will add in. This makes sense here, means I have to first iterate it. It's a kind of matrix you can consider, right? So go through each and every row and go through each and every column. For that I need to have two uh, loops. I cannot have one loop. We have covered this in our multi-dimensional array. Do you remember this?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to do the same thing here. And then if I want to just get the values out of this particular rows and columns. Okay, so what I have to do here, or let me display the entire table first. Okay, to display the entire table, system.out.println, I will use the same thing. Okay, or let me write down separately. Yeah, I will use the same thing, dot get text. Okay, instead of writing println there, I will just do print there, and then I will add. Okay, here and then similarly, yeah. So this is going to give me the entire table. So once we get the entire table, instead of printing, you can check for some value whether that value exists or not, and then you can get the cell of that particular value. So let me run this.
They're giving dynamic only 3 and 2, right? I think only those value will be written.
Yeah, initial for the first output, those values will be written. Okay, but it is okay. Oh, I'm sorry. It is not 3 and 2. Okay, I'm sorry. I have that's the mistake of copy paste. It is not 3 and 2. I should
I
pause.
think we need to mention I and 0.
I
I
should
0,
pause
I J.
I and j here. Okay. Once I pass I and j, I will get those values here. So I'm running it again. Let us see the output. As the page loads, still loading the page. Okay. It's not fetching the value here, right? Let's see what's the problem here. First I, that is the 0th row, and second is a 0th column. So do we have 0 here, or do we need to start with 1? Okay, it doesn't have 0, it has 1, so I should start with 1 here. Okay, it's not an array, it's a table which has 1 here. This is the first row and first column, so I should start with 1 here. So let me run this again. Still not fetching the values.
This is from 2, I guess.
No, it's not from 2. Okay, I have one condition. If okay, I is equal to 1, right, then it should not be TD, it should be TH. Somewhere here, right, it should not be TD, it should be TH. Because in the first row, that's why it is not fetching the value. I have to skip that. Okay, so let me see here, the first column. You can see here it is TH. When I is equal to 1, okay, and j is equal to 1, it is TH. So if I is equal to 1, right, so what I am going to do here, I will not enter this. If I is equal to 1, continue, means it will script the rest of the thing, and I will be 2, because I have to start from second row, right? Is it correct? This is the data. Or if I is equal to 1, okay, if I is equal to 1, what I am trying to do here is, instead of using Okay, if I is equal to 1, instead of using TD, the thing should be TH. Okay, so it should be TH. Second, right, or the value TH. Okay, so we need to use this in our entire script. So if I is equal to 1, then this, else this. So here I will use value TH because that is the value, right? Value TH. Is it correct? You are understanding this? Because first it will try to identify TD, but in the first row TD is not there, TH is there, table header is there. That's why it was not identifying the element. Okay, so any doubt here? Pradeep?
No.
Okay, so let me go here and run this. Yeah, you can see now it is printing everything, right? Company, contact, and then it is not printing country because I have given less than. You should give less than or equal to. Okay, up to those many number of rows. Once you give equals to, it will print country also. Let me show you that also. You can see company, contact, country, and it is giving also this one and Germany. Is it correct? And it's giving Mexico. I have to format this in a right way, but it is giving me all the country names along with all other values. Okay, so this is how I'm just printing the table, but what you can do here is get text dot equals to. Okay, so this is, now we will come to the calendar, right? So calendar will also have a web table. So in this jQuery I have a calendar also. Let me go here, that is date picker. Let me click on this. Okay, it's taking some time to load. Yeah, so you can see here, this is a field, this is an input field. No, just a minute. This is an input field, and then once you click on this input field, the calendar is displayed. So what this calendar contains? This calendar contains table, rows and columns. You can see TD and TR. Shashi, you're able to see this, right? Yeah. So I will just explain the logic. You try to work it out. So this is an element, okay, to move to the next month, or this is an element to move to the previous month. you try to click on, you use the while loop as I have shown you here in our, where is that? In the action class, I have used the while loop, right? While true, just click on this until you go to this particular month. Okay, if the month, always you should get the text for this, particular month. That's the logic here. Okay, always check for the month, and then if the month is equal to whatever you are looking at, then find the element inside this particular table, and then iterate through that element and click on some date where you want to click. Means you will be iterating if the value is equal to 22, then you click on the value. It's very simple. It is similar to our normal operations, but there will be multiple actions we will be having here. One is, first I have to click on this particular input field to display the entire calendar, and once the calendar is displayed, you can verify, right? You can verify the current month, and then just click on next button to go to the other months, and then stop somewhere where you have the exact month you are looking at, using this while loop logic only. Using this while loop logic only. While true, okay, driver dot find element dot click, that element dot click, and then once you click on this, verify the text. Okay, if the text is equal to September, then you break out of that while loop, and then you just iterate through this particular table and click on that particular element.